So obviously it's your first UFC fight week. What has the experience been like this week compared to previous fights?
Well, all positive. Reception was great. I see Vegas is full of the fight, full of promotion of the fight. Yeah, UFC's just done a great job. Done a great job of receiving me. Proud to be with UFC.
So many distractions, obviously, leading into this fight. What's been the biggest challenge in preparing?
Well, there have been some distractions, yes. But I'm pretty good at focusing myself, keeping the focus on the training. I'd have to thank my team. Also, they've taken, I would say, 99% of the weight off my shoulders, and that kept me focused.
So much talk about testing and that sort of thing. Do you feel like there's more scrutiny this time on you because this is a UFC fight? You said you've dealt with this your whole life. Do you feel like there's more scrutiny this time around?
Well, I think that's because the fight is big as it is. I think, in my opinion, this is one of the biggest fights ever. And of course, then there's going to be more media, more cameras, more people, more opinions, more everything. But it's part of the job. I'm not complaining. I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy it's this big, and it's all good.
Do you think at this level of fighting, you're such a powerful striker that intimidation is still a part of the game at this level?
I would think more so than when you're a beginner.
Really, why?
When you're a beginner, you don't know anything about your opponent. You've not seen tapes of your opponent, you've not seen his experience, you've not seen his movement. Now you do get the chance to study your opponent more. And then, yeah, I think also fight style can be intimidating.
So do you think that there's a sense, like when guys you're fighting, that hey, if you can land something big early, that you can get a mental advantage in the fight and enable the fight to go your way?
When you land, you always get the advantage. But you got to keep landing. Can't land once.
Is this the most you've ever worked on your wrestling in one training camp, would you say?
I've always been working on my wrestling, but for this I've been working with wrestlers, yeah.
You talked a little bit about how you were going to try and spend as much time at home with your mother around the holidays as possible before coming here. With all the stuff that's going on and the concerns with her health-wise, I mean, what were the holidays like this time?
Well, holidays were training, and again, I would like to thank my team because they took all the headache away of sparring partners, tickets, all the small issues, so that I could spend time with my mother and the rest of the family, and I could focus on training. So I would say the training camp, although there were some issues in the background, I put the work in. I'm feeling great. I'm very excited of this being my first fight in the UFC, and fighting, of course, Mr. Lesnar.
And people still talk about the UFC jitters, that kind of stuff. I mean, you've been in so many fights, so many different places. I mean, are you trying to prepare yourself for what it'll feel like to walk out there in the UFC? Do you think it'll feel any differently?
It's going to feel different. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be more crazy, more hectic. Of course, I've seen other UFC fights, and yeah, all I can say is I'm very happy that I'm here, and I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm looking forward to the whole show, the whole day, actually.
Do you think the scrutiny behind what happened with the testing was warranted? With people, this is your first UFC fight, that's what they're reading about. Maybe people who haven't seen you, that's all they're reading about. Does it bother you or no?
I'm not bothered. Basically, all I'm focused on is my preparation, the training, staying relaxed before the fight. Obviously, we have some activities today, tomorrow, the day after, and I'm just focused on that. And I'm going to have my fight speak for itself. I mean, I have a lot of knockouts, a lot of submissions. I never go for the decision. I always go for the knockout, and that's going to speak for itself.
What was your reaction to the commissioner who didn't know that you even had fought in Nevada before and that you hadn't been tested? You had been tested here and he didn't know that. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I didn't have a reaction because I was not allowed to speak, and you got to follow the rules. Yeah, of course, he was a little bit misconstrued on that issue, but I'm sure that was clarified later.
When this fight was first announced, Brock said he didn't really follow much of your career, wasn't familiar with you. How about him? Have you followed his career as he's progressed?
Yeah, I did actually. Actually, I was a fan of his fights. He was one of the fights I would watch. First time I woke up in the morning, I would watch UFC because of his fights. Because his fights, I mean, he is a figure that attracts attention, and his fights are entertaining. He does bring it. He does always go for the kill. And yeah, I followed his career, not up until the letter, but I did always watch his fights. And yeah.
How do you expect him to approach this fight? I mean, do you think that he's going to even attempt to stand in front of you and strike at all, or do you feel like he's probably just going to bull rush you at the opening bell?
I have no idea. I don't know what his corner is, but I'm prepared for both. I'm ready for everything he's going to give me.
What's your reaction? Frank Mir made the comment. He said because Brock has been hurt by striking, that he's going to be less willing to strike with you, and that'll make him a much stronger favorite, and that you have a little chance unless you land something big in the first couple minutes. Just kind of any reaction to what he said?
No, I don't really listen to other fighters, so no reaction.
So it sounds like you don't necessarily agree with the notion that Brock's going to try to take you down right away. That's going to be where it's his advantage, it's your advantage on the feet. You see the fight kind of more complex than that?
Well, it's definitely going to be more complex than that, but maybe not. Maybe it's going to be simple. You're just going to have to wait and see. It's going to be 3 more days. Like I said, I'm ready for anything that he's going to throw at me or try to throw at me. I'm ready.
Being that you said you were so familiar with him, you'd watched a lot of your fights, how much did you go back and study him in this training camp?
To be honest, I didn't watch any of his fights. I'm ready.
Is that typical? Is that the way you typically approach opponents, or do you generally watch their fights?
It goes in emotion. Sometimes I feel the urge to check up on things, but I think when you look at Brock, it's pretty straightforward what he's going to do. Yeah, it's not really a big surprise there.
Can you win this fight off your back if he does get the takedown? I mean, is it that simple to think that if he's on top, he's winning the fight?
3 more days, 72 hours. Plus a couple.
Why not watch some tape? I mean, just because you can only train so many hours a day. I mean, why would not go back and look at some of his video?
Yeah, I don't know. It's on emotion. Sometimes I feel like it and I'll do it. Sometimes I won't feel like it. I've had a fight that I watch it every day before I go to bed. And sometimes I don't watch it.
Is it like, you feel like avoiding it specifically?
No, but sometimes like you're caught up in he's going to take you down. You don't want to get caught up in that movement, because maybe he's going to stand and trade punches, and then your whole sense of is that he's going to try and take you down, and then you fool yourself. So just keep it open. I'm trained. I'm trained in all possibilities, and that's why I feel very confident. That's why I feel ready.
Do you think he underestimates you because all of your success has been outside of the UFC?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not occupied with what he thinks or not. I'm here to do a job, I'm trained, and we can debate that after the fight.